Hey guys, welcome back. So at the time I'm recording this, there are 6 days until the election, and by the time I actually upload it, there will be 5. Today, just like 2 miles, if even that, away from my house, there was a Trump rally. I didn't get to go, unfortunately, but I've been to one before, so I guess I can live with it. Today, Ted Cruz absolutely bitch slapped Jack Dorsey. Jack Dorsey had to go in front of the Senate, virtually of course, and answer some questions about the censorship that has been happening all the fuck over Twitter.
Mr. Dorsey, does Twitter have the ability to influence elections?
No.
You don't believe Twitter has any ability to influence elections?
No, we are one part of a broad spectrum of communication channels that people have.
So you're testifying to this committee right now that Twitter, when it silences people, when it censors people, when it blocks political speech, that has no impact on elections?
People have choice of other communication channels with which...
Not if they don't hear information. If you don't think you have the power to influence elections, why do you block anything? 2 weeks ago, Twitter made the unilateral decision to censor the New York Post in a series of 2 blockbuster articles, both alleging evidence of corruption against Joe Biden, the first concerning Ukraine, the second concerning communist China. And Twitter made the decision, number one, to prevent users, any user, from sharing those stories. And number two, you went even further and blocked the New York Post from sharing on Twitter its own reporting. Why? So, Mr. Dorsey, your ability is you have the power to force a media outlet. Let's be clear. The New York Post isn't just some random guy tweeting. The New York Post has the 4th highest circulation of any newspaper in America. The New York Post is over 200 years old. The New York Post was founded by Alexander Hamilton. And your position is that you can sit in Silicon Valley and demand of the media that you can tell them what stories they can publish and you can tell the American people what reporting they can hear. Is that right? I find that facially highly dubious and clearly employed in a deeply partial way. Did Twitter block the distribution of the New York Times' story a few weeks ago that purported to be based on copies of President Trump's tax returns?
We didn't find that a violation of our terms of service and this policy in particular because it was reporting about the material. It wasn't distributing the material.
Okay, well, that's actually not true. They posted what they purported to be original source materials, and federal law, federal statute makes it a crime, a federal felony, to distribute someone's tax returns against their knowledge. So that material was based on something that was distributed in violation of federal law, and yet Twitter gleefully allowed people to circulate that. But when the article was critical of Joe Biden, Twitter engaged in rampant censorship and silencing. Censor the New York Post, you can censor Politico, presumably you can censor the New York Times or any other media outlet. Mr. Dorsey, who the hell elected you and put you in charge of what the media are allowed to report and what the American people are allowed to hear? And why do you persist in behaving as a Democratic super PAC, silencing views to the contrary of your political beliefs?
Let's give Mr. Dorsey a few seconds.
I used to not really like Ted Cruz that much. During the 2016 election, I found it obnoxious that he just would not give in and just let Trump have the nomination. He was a little bitch about it, but he has redeemed himself for me. Tony Bobulinski went on Tucker Carlson and exposed the fuck out of the Bidens, to put it bluntly. He has worked with Hunter Biden in the past on business dealings, and he was pretty pissed that the Biden campaign was denying it, and also just accepting the fact that he was being linked to Russian disinformation, which we all know is a lie. We all know Adam Schiff is a liar.
I'm only sitting here because they have not only have they not gone on record, they've denied it, and they've tarred my family name and a long history of serving this country, and have other congressmen out talking about Russian disinformation.
This whole smear on Joe Biden comes from the Kremlin.
I held a top secret clearance from the NSA and the DOE. I served this country for 4 years in one of the most elite environments in the world, Naval Nuclear Power Training Command. And to have a congressman out there speaking about Russian disinformation, or Joe Biden at a public debate referencing Russian disinformation, when he knows he sat face to face with me, that I was traveled around the world with his son and his brother, to say that and associate that with my name is absolutely disgusting. Yeah, the patriotic duty to this country and every American citizen to go on record and to find the facts for them and let them do their own work. Let them decide how they view those facts or not. But for the Biden family to deny these facts and then not only deny them, they could have just said no comment, but they didn't say no comment. They then brought in Russian disinformation.
So were you surprised, given the trove of documents you have, given the credibility that I think is apparent that you have, that no other news organization took the time to unpack this story?
Surprised is probably an understatement of the year. Shocked, because it would be different if this was my word against Jim Biden, Hunter Biden, and Joe Biden.
Right.
That would be a very slippery slope, not something I would take the personal and family risk on it. But I've provided more documents and facts that validate times, meetings, who participated. That email text messages that I've provided are Hunter Biden in the first person, Jim Biden in the first person, James Gilliar in the first person, Rob Walker in the first person. Basically, Rob's position was, if you go on record with all these facts, you'll bury all of us.
If he doesn't come out on record, I am providing the facts.
Tony, you're just going to just bury all of us, man.
But Hunter Biden and Jim Biden have a well-documented, decades-long record of business disasters. Did you get any sense that either one of these guys was qualified to be conducting this kind of business?
The only qualification they had was the Biden name. Obviously, he was the sitting vice president and potentially would run as a future president.
It sounds like a remarkably ambitious international business program they had running.
Extensive.
He and his uncle.
Extensive.
Here you have Rob Walker responding to you. Clearly there's some confusion over this, and he's saying, I'm going to put this on the screen now. When Hunter Biden said his chairman, he was talking about his dad. Correct.
There's two chairmen in the story. There's Chairman Yee, who was the chairman of CFC.
Yes.
In that text from Hunter Biden, he was not talking about the chairman of CFC. And what Hunter's referencing there is he spoke with his father, and his father is giving an emphatic no to the ask that I had, which was putting proper governance in place around Oneida Holdings.
The Biden crime family is a thing. Every single person in Biden's family has benefited from their connection to Biden. As Hunter Biden put it himself, Joe Biden was his chairman. He was fully involved in this. People who are acting like the story is irrelevant aren't realizing the story is about Hunter Biden, but it's not about Hunter Biden. It's about Joe Biden, because he knew all about this. He was fully involved. I really recommend that everyone goes and watches that interview if you haven't already. It's really good. It's really detailed. It's better than I could ever explain it. More than likely, this is my last video until the election, unless something really, really big happens. So I'll see you when Trump's reelected. Thank you for watching.